Uh-oh. I'm sitting here on my live. Y'all give me 1 second. Let me log into this here YouTube, and because I know a lot of people still at work, but I'm in the office today because my son, my oldest son, does not have soccer practice tonight. So my youngest son has soccer practice, and my wife takes him. So that allows me to be able to sit in here and get on here and talk tonight. Y'all got to forgive him. I have blue light glasses on, but sometimes I be having a little too much glare. But now that light messing me up. So we sit in front of the computer all day, have to have them blue light glasses on sometimes because it go to messing up your eyes. I just had to post that I was on here, so y'all forgive me because YouTube they don't always get to do the notifications. What's today? Thursday. I think it's Thursday. And now this a blessed tribe chat. Which if you're not in the blessed tribe, then up under my videos you'll see where it say join. And got something coming up special for the blessed tribe that blessed tribe will be notified first about, and then I'll let the public know after that. And this is a time normally I probably would have tried to put this out ahead of time and let folks know ahead of time, but my wife, she headed to practice, and then she get home at 9, so I'm gonna be off of here. The latest I could stay is the 8:45, and you know how it is as the notifications go out and then people see their email or they stop driving. LA is 3 o'clock, they still at work. Houston is 5 o'clock, they in 5 o'clock traffic, and they ran out of data on the phone. And then East Coast, 6 o'clock, some people still in traffic. So with the YouTube notifications, you have to, sometimes you got to set it and then unset it and then set it back again for it to work. And y'all got to forgive me. I'm trying to finish up that little text coaching. But somebody sent me a message on Instagram, and that's what kind of prompted this, because I was, I'm talking about something else tonight, something else today, which I'm going to be addressing, and we're going to be going into and talking about just spiritual warfare, talking about the spiritual warfare and the different messages and the different things that's going out to us and myself, and I know it's other people out there gonna be combating the messages and discussing these things, just because when it comes to what we watch, what we listen to and things of that nature, we will get to a place to where we don't process it and it'll become natural. Like you'll be sitting and you'll think that, oh, what's being said is real. Like this is reality. This is natural. And you'll embody it and you'll start to believe it. And a lot of times what we don't think about is that our worries, our stress, our depression, all of those things come from the stuff that we hear online. Like there was a time where there was no social media, so you didn't get to hear all this different stuff. But now what we hear today, it literally shifts and changes how you move, how you live your life. And then even when you are trying to do what you want to do and do it the way you want to do it, you'll do it with a bad attitude because you going against the path, you going against the grain, and you on the narrow road while everybody else is on the broad road, and you're on the narrow road, and the narrow road may be lonely, and you feel desolate, you feel alienated, ostracized, you feel looked down upon, even though people saying you think you better than me. And that right there, that creates some disdain in your heart. You feel disgruntled. You're unhappy because you're trying to do things the right way, but it's not being rewarded fast enough. And you're hearing these different messages out there. And the video I was just looking at that one of y'all sent me was from a podcast, and it was a group of young ladies. I can't remember the name of the podcast now. Humble Baddies. And I don't know who the ladies was. One of them is the former NFL player Ocho Cinco, his wife. She's on there. And they was having this topic, and the young lady was asking these questions, and the video was about like a snippet from their talk. And I'm sure they're going to talk about all different types of things, but it's crazy how in our society, how to get attention, we got to be nasty. And so here it is, this group of beautiful Black women, and depending on the man, beautiful could be an understatement. Like they could be seen as more than beautiful, depending on the man who looking at them, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But here you have this podcast with beautiful Black women, and where the clip that goes viral, the clip that's being shared, and they shared it because it was them collaborating on the share. The clip that could be shared could have been a clip about the election. These women look like Kamala Harris. So, the younger version. So they could have been talking about that. I would assume they are mothers, or at least one of them, or maybe two of them, maybe all three of them, could be talking about motherhood, could be talking about being a business owner, entrepreneurship. And yes, all those things may be to come, but how you get people is how they want to keep you. So if you get people with filth, they don't want you to go from talking about filth to then talking about Christ. If you get people talking about love and relationships, like what I talk about, you don't come over here to hear me talk about real estate or to hear me talk about credit cards. You come for love and relationship talk. Every client that I coach, and I coach anywhere from 2 to 4, sometimes 6 clients in a day. Monday through Friday, really Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I had to add Monday and Friday because my schedule was getting too crowded. And so I'm coaching 2 to 6 people a day, not to include the free calls that I do with friends or family. And every person that I ask, well, how did you find me? They say I was going through a divorce, I was going through a breakup, or I was in a toxic relationship, or I was Googling something about relationships and your video popped up. I've met one person that found me, that booked a session and found me from a video I did about not buying a car right now. Like it said, don't buy cars right now. So how people find you, that's how they want to keep you. And that's what these podcast producers, these podcast people not understanding. And here's the thing, we as a people, we got to do better. Now this is off time, so I'm just talking into the wind. right now, 6 p.m. Eastern versus 9 p.m. Eastern, but I want to be home with my wife. So I have to just talk now. And then when my wife get home, I'm going home because I'm trying to lay up under me, son, smell on something good. And then y'all can watch the replay because got to do this on my time. But one of the things these podcasts not thinking about is people want to keep you how they found you. And here you got these young ladies, they talking about, and I wish I could find it over here. I'm shy. I ain't even finna play that. It'll be done got my video took down. So on the video, they doing a rapid fire. And the young lady asking this one young lady these nasty questions. Have you ever, or like what you like, this top or bottom, what you like, best position, front the bike. Just even me talking about this, it sound nasty. They asking about the hot tour, and they asking about the bike door. Like, do you want it in the bike door? And if it's in the back door, do you want it lubed or dry? And I'm like, here go beautiful black women. I mean, these women are the prototype of what a black man say he want. Like they looks. So you would hope that what's coming out their mouth would be of substance. And the Bible talk about, it say, even, not the Bible, it's a quote, but it probably is biblically based. It say, even a fool, no, this probably is the Bible. Even a fool is counted as wise with his mouth shut. So, and then it's a quote that says something about a fool is seen as wise until he opens his mouth and removes all doubt. Or you could be seen as a fool and then open your mouth and confirm that you're a fool, basically, is what it was saying. And that right there is what you don't want to see. That's why we taught to be lowly at heart and watch what we say. And so here I am looking at these sisters. And this is the thing, what I'm trying to tell y'all is, God bless you. Welcome to the new members. This what I'm trying to tell y'all is we see men on toxic podcasts. So you done seen the men on the toxic podcast, and then they lumping in the women. And for so long, women have been, we try to hold women in a light, in a standard of being classy, being responsible. Because after all, the woman is the mother. The mother is the breastfeeder. The mother is the nurturer, the caretaker. So the mother has to be even more emotionally intelligent than the man, because it's the mother that the child cries for. That's who the child wants when the child is sick. It's the mother who, if the man dies in war, if the man loses his job, if the man ups and leaves, it's the woman who we have forever in society seen as the pillar, the backbone, the stability. Grandma, auntie, mama, even big sister, or even little sister. It's the woman that we see as the strength. And it's so sad to see that the adversary has gotten so many victories against men. And now he has changed, he's fixed his sights on women. Now the adversary wants the woman, the one who was thought to be more spiritual, more responsible, less vices, and closer to God. Now the adversary say, I want the woman. Because guess what? There's more single mothers than there are single fathers. Because it's oftentimes the man who breaks down the relationship. Even though the red pill society is trying to skew and push this number of 90% of divorces are filed by women. Why do you think they filed by the woman? Because she's the one getting cheated on. She the one getting hands put on her. So that's why she filing it. But they trying to make it sound like women who are married is just waking up one day and saying, hey, I no longer want to be married to this amazing, faithful, providing, protecting man. But see, that's how the devil twists stuff to create spiritual warfare in relationships and spiritual warfare between men and women. So now here you have these women sitting on a podcast, and what is to be sacred? What is to be private? So now think about this. Think about this now. Think about this lady that's on this Raggedy podcast, Humble Baddies, or whatever it was. She sat there, and I don't know how long the video was, but in that video, I learned that if she done had a night out and or some lube, she like a man. She okay with a man entering her back door. You know what I'm talking about, the back door. I ain't talking about the house. I'm talking about the back door. In that 30 seconds to a minute, I learned that she like to swallow a man cheering. That she like to swallow. In that 60 seconds, I learned she like to be on the bottom. In that 60 seconds, I learned her favorite position is from the back. Now, here is a woman who is absolutely beautiful. Could look like she could be somebody's wife. But now the whole world and every man knows everything about her. Everything she like to do sexually. That is private information. But we have been, and now here's the thing. They ain't got no record deal. They ain't got no record deal. And people don't understand the dynamics of, people don't understand the secrets to success. So now, being that the one young lady is married to a former NFL player, which I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. He should be. He probably will be if he's not. So she married to basically a Hall of Famer. And he got a successful podcast. But his podcast is successful. He got a dynamic personality, but he also with another former NFL player. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. He probably will be too if he's not, who is a dynamic personality as well. So they are outliers. They're not everyday average men. Like their personality, their accents, their charisma, sense of humor, all of that is an outlier. That's not every man that has that. So their podcast get millions of views a day or a month. And so now these ladies say, hey, look at what these men doing on these podcasts, and they touching millions. They touching millions or high six figures at least from this podcast. Let's get on. Let's do us a podcast. But imagine how, like me and my mentee, my homeboy, we about to start us a podcast. But guess what? We not finna be talking about sexual positions. We ain't talking about that. We're finna be talking about manhood. What it's like being a man in this society. What it's like being a Christian man. I'm going to be talking about what it's like being a husband. He's going to be talking about what it's like being a single man in this society and waiting on your wife, preparing for your wife. Like, we're going to be talking about real life, not private, intimate, sexual stuff. But we are under the mindset that we got to be raunchy to make it. Now, yes, there are white women with podcasts like that. I don't know if they're wives, but there are, I don't know, I haven't seen the Asian version of that. I haven't seen the Hispanic version of that. But I think the young lady might be Hispanic herself, or maybe Hispanic and black. I don't know. Or could be black. I don't know. But it's like, why do we feel like we got to be raunchy? We got to be ghetto. We got to be nasty to be relevant. Like, why we can't keep private things private? It just like Kamala. Now I heard them saying her name. Okay. And they say Kamala, like the people who pronounce it professionally. So the way I remember it is it sound like comma, then la, Kamala. So I be hearing people say Kamala, Camilla. I'm like, the way I heard her say it, or the people who announcing her say Kamala. But just like Kamala. Now, I know some of y'all like Kamala. Me personally, I don't like politicians, period. I do not, I don't care for no politician. I vote for Jesus Christ. And I'm just be honest with you, be transparent with you. I might get in the booth and write Jesus' name on the ballot and check it. Because my life not gonna change one way or the other. I don't care if they charge 90% in taxes. As long as they got a write-off, they ain't get 90% from me. Cause it's get rid of. So me personally, it don't matter who in there. I'ma serve God. Whatever they legislate, whatever they got going on, as for me and my house, we gonna serve the Lord. I don't get into politics. I don't believe Jesus got into politics, because the one time I heard a politician mention, Jesus said, render unto Caesar what Caesar, and render unto God what is God's. And the other time he was in front of a politician, he looked that politician in the face. I think it was Pontius Pilate or whoever it was. And he said, you have no power other than what my Father in heaven has given you. So I don't think Jesus did politics as far as voting, or they probably have voting, but just doing all of that. And the people in the Bible, they didn't bow to politics. Because remember, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they politicians had them bowing to another god. They didn't bow to that god, and they got through in the fiery furnace, and not a hair on their body was singed. So that's why I really don't do politics, because I serve Jesus Christ. I don't get caught up in it. I know a lot of y'all be crazy, rock the vote list. I'm rocking the Holy Bible. But just like Kamala, she go and have this, whatever this was, they call it a rally, and she have Megan the horse coming there, and she twerking. It's like, what in the world? This is a political event. Why did you bring a raunchy, raggedy rapper? You raise $81 million in 24 hours. You could have gave Michelle Obama $1 million. Come in here and give a speech. You and Barack done endorsed me. Come in here and give a speech. But y'all turn on TV, you see Megan the horse up there booty jiggling. Up there, just throwing booty with a fake business suit on. It's like, why do we insist to give? And that right there, because a lot of people been arguing, oh, Kamala Black. That right there let me know she actually does not identify as black. Because you're not finna do that on the world stage to black people. You're not finna make Megan the horse the entertainment. You're not finna do that. Stallion. You're not finna do the horse trot on the stage to represent black people. Somebody call me, give me Kamala number. Let me come in there and give a speech. I don't even do politics. Let me come in there and give a speech then. Give me some of that 81 million. What is Megan the Horse doing up there? It's like, so this why I try to tell you is you got to protect your household. You have to raise your children. You got to raise your children. You have to teach them. So what I do is I will talk to my son. We'll listen to rap music and I'll break down every little bar. We'll talk about the bars that the rapper's saying. I explain to him these rappers' insecurity. I explain to him what an insecure man is. I explain to him about spiritual warfare. I explain to him about how what goes into his ears, what he listens to affects his life. And I show him how it has changed and how it changes his personality, his behavior, the way he talk, the way he walk, the way he dress. And I point it out to him to make him aware of it and break it down. You have to raise your children because when your children get online, the algorithm is not foolproof. So my oldest son had told me that my youngest son, when he be on YouTube and he be scrolling, it's supposed to be kid content, but the kid content is adults dressed up in costumes, running around acting like cartoon characters. And sometimes they put adult content on the kid channel, on the kid side of YouTube. But really it's inappropriate. And for those adults, it's like cosplay. I don't even know what that means, but to me, it means costume play. It could mean something else, but I'm changing the word. So really, it's like dress up for these adults. It's kind of like role play, but without going all the way. And they call it kid content. But yet still, your children are watching sick adults who using your children viewership to make money while they running around in a tight booty costume. Women got all kind of camel toe, man got all kind of bat and ball swinging, and they dressed up like Superman and Superwoman and running around and making little dirty jokes, but it get funneled into the kid content on YouTube. And so if you're not actively raising your children and talking to them, when they get on their Instagram and they TikTok, your daughter is going to go to scrolling and she's going to see the humble baddies. Now, and they talking about swallowing and somebody entering their exit. Your 14-year-old is watching these grown women, grown, beautiful women who's supposed to be the standard, the prototype, the role model, sitting there talking about adult content on the World Wide Web. And people say, oh, well, you need to watch your kids. Your kids shouldn't be on the World Wide Web. That's not realistic because they got the World Wide Web on their friend phone at school. Even if your child ain't got no phone, when they get to school, they got their friend phone. When they spend the night, they got their friend phone. And then on their phone, they know how to hide the apps. They know how to log in. They got fake accounts because we live in a society of monkey see, monkey do. So if they see adults coming into the podcast space and being nasty, they like, oh, well, adults are followers. So why is my mama telling me I can't have no cell phone when the women she watch are followers? The women she watch placate and adjust and adapt to the raunchy and raggedy, debaucherous morals and values of society. So this the thing is where we going into a season, and I'm gonna be talking about it as every day the Lord let me get on here, I'm getting on here. Because somebody got to lead the brigade. Somebody got to be on the front line. Somebody got to speak out against this foolishness, this nonsense. Because it ain't enough people talking. It ain't enough people talking. And the people who claiming to be Christian, they trying to play nice. Jesus flipped tables. Look you in your face and told you finna bust hell wide open. You don't get your life together. Jesus ain't walking around playing nice. But these Christians out here today, don't judge. Ain't nobody judging. God is the judge. This right here, the laws. This the commandments. We just reporting live. Ain't nobody judging. Can't judge you because ain't got no heaven or hell to put you in. So I can't judge you. All I could do is warn you. But see, today we hiding under, oh, you judging. Oh, that's judgmental. You ain't supposed to be judgmental. The Bible say don't be judgmental. Ain't nobody judging you. Warning you before you lose it all. So now look at this lady that they set up on the Hip podcast. I seen the clip of the humble baddies. They done set this lady up for failure. I pray she don't have children. I pray that she is not a mother yet, and that she get delete this from the internet before she become a mother. Because some people, you see, in the Bible talk to us about when we go out into the world, how people will become conceited in their rebellion. So there will be people who will be like, it's some of these podcasters who saying stupid stuff, and they are parents, they mothers and fathers, they got children, and they'll say, oh, I own my life. I'm not ashamed. But it's like your child ashamed. Like, I can't imagine, like my son, he was telling me sometimes he be cringing when me and his mama post our video. And our video positive. Ain't nothing wrong with him. He was telling me sometimes his friends watch me on live, and he got white friends, some of his friends white, and I go to talk about how his life different from a white boy life, and how awkward he be feeling. They be sitting there watching the live. I'm like, hey, the truth got to go forward. So listen, if he could get uncomfortable with me telling the truth, imagine this young lady sitting on the podcast talking about she'll take it up the booty hole. She swallow. She like it up from the bite. All of this right here. And then child got to go to school. And don't mess around, let the child be in high school. Can you imagine your child go to school, and imagine your child go to school, Joya, say the name. You can say the name. You got my permission. I need to know who this is because I'm from Polk County. Now, imagine your child go to school, and the kids is, hey, but your mama say she like doggy style. What? But your mama like to get the rape beat off of. What? Hey, what? Because listen, my wife not on the internet doing podcasts, and just her going to the game, just her going to the school, my son's friends rank the moms in order of hotness, and they put my wife at number 1. So he feel awkward because his friends ranking his mama as the hottest mom. I remember a few years ago, he was on a team, and he go out to practice, and they talking about moms, and one of his teammates was like, yeah, Tony mom, I hit that. It took everything in me not to go slap the boy. So now this somebody who got a mama who not on a podcast making a fool of herself. So imagine somebody child who mama on the podcast talking about she swallow and she take it from the bike. Imagine what them kids doing at school to them kids. Hey, where your look? Kid walking around looking at the kid. Hey, tell your mama said hi. Now the children traumatized because we irresponsible as adults and we just thinking about money. Oh, get money. Oh, Mark started my classmate, and he is a Hebrew Israelite. He say, oh, good and well, he ain't want his wife out there talking about all of that. Not classmate. We the same age, graduated the same year. I hit a floater in his face in ninth grade. Little claim to flame, little claim to fame. After he blocked the first one, but came back down. Buckets. So I hope that ain't Amari Stoudemire wife. My goodness. So here these ladies is, and now these grown women, successful women, men that had success, that made it, and this what we sitting on the podcast talking about. And honestly, like me as a man, you would think that as a man, that would turn me on. That I sit there and be like, be visualizing. Now, men who watch porn, P-O-R, porn, they probably get turned on looking at that. But now, guess what? The way a man mind works is a man has X-ray vision. Man got X-ray vision. So if a man want to lust at a woman, he don't just see her with what she got on. Our mind will make up something. We could make up an image of what we think it look like that we can't see. So when these wives and mothers, okay, ex-wife, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I can't see the Hebrew Israelite letting his wife sit up there and talk about that. Not that I know what a Hebrew Israelite is, but he on a spiritual journey and all that. Can't see him sit up there and let his wife talk about she like to swallow and all that. Like, my goodness. If my wife go on a podcast talking about she like to swallow and take it on the bite and need some lube, man, I'm gonna jump off a bridge, man. I'll be gone. I got to go, man. But it's like we get comfortable in sin. We get comfortable in nastiness. And that's the sad part of society. That's the sad part of society. And y'all give me a second here. Maybe I could look it up on here. And we got to do better. Yeah, y'all ain't know the country boy could tight. Yeah, of course. So here it go. Here it go. This Genesis. This right here is Genesis. What this is? Let me show you this. Let me show you this right here. Look right here now. Now what that right there say now? This right here, where we at right now in society. They called Lot. Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out so that we can have sex with them. Look here now. Now, what other word do that mean? Now, this in Genesis chapter 19. And this where the two angels arrived at Sodom in the evening. And Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. When he saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. My lords, he said, please turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and spend the night, and then go on your way early in the morning. No, they answered, we'll spend the night in the square. But he insisted so strongly that they did go with him and entered his house. He prepared a meal for them, baking bread without yeast, and they ate. Before they had gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. They called to Lot, where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them. Lot went outside to meet them and shut the door behind him and said, no, my friends, don't do this wicked thing. Look, I have two daughters who have never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do what you like with them. But don't do anything to these men, for they have come under the protection of my roof. Get out of our way, they replied. This fellow came here as a foreigner, and now he wants to play the judge. We'll treat you worse than them. They kept bringing pressure on Lot and moved forward to break down the door. But the men inside reached out and pulled Lot back into the house and shut the door. Then they struck the men who were at the door of the house, young and old, with blindness, so that they could not find the door. The two men said to Lot, do you have anyone else here, sons-in-law, sons or daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place. The outcry to the Lord against his people is so great that he has sent us to destroy it. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law who were pledged to marry his daughters. He said, hurry and get out of this place, because the Lord is about to destroy the city. But his sons-in-law thought he was joking. With the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, hurry, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished. When he hesitated, the men grasped his hand and the hands of his wife and of his two daughters and led them safely out of the city, for the Lord was merciful to them. As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, flee for your lives. Don't look back and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains or you will be swept away. But Lot said to them, no, my lords, please. Your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in sparing my life, but I can't flee to the mountains. This disaster will overtake me, and I'll die. Look, here's a town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared. He said to him, very well, I grant this request too. I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it. By the time Lot reached Zoar, the sun had risen over the land. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, destroying all those living in the cities and also the vegetation in the land. But Lot's wife looked back and she became a pillar of salt. Now, look at that right there now. Now, you can read Genesis 19. I ain't going to keep going because my point was made right there. Now, you see that right there? That right there is what we in again today. Where you could get on a doggone podcast and people is talking about taking it up the booty, swallowing, doggy style, and got families, mamas, sisters, cousins, all the business. All the business. What you think Drake finna do when he see that? Old Dirt Diggler. What you think Future finna do when he see that? Dirt Diggler. Kanye West might come off that laughing gas and leave a half-naked woman he be dragging around the city like a hostage and sliding them DMs. Oh, so you like, so you old big gulp, huh? So this is what I'm trying to tell you. We got to have more class, more decorum. And what y'all have to do is you got to hold these people accountable. You see these Raggedy podcasts, send all the hosts a DM. Hey, you need to think before you speak. You need to be ashamed of yourself. You know how crazy a podcast could go. You know how crazy a podcast can go where you just talk about motherhood and you talk about what it's like to be a wife. You talk about what it's like to be a person of color in America trying to build business or what have you. You talk about, you could commentate on what's happening in the world. It just people want to hear your thoughts. You ain't got to be nasty and raunchy and all of that. And it's a lot. And some of these podcasts that's out here talking nasty, I done reached out to them. Because I seen some other ones, I can't remember the name. I reached out to them like, hey, I want to come on the show. And the reason why is because I want to go on there and educate them. Talk to their audience. Talk to them like what is y'all doing? Like, this what it come to? Like, you that desperate for a man? For some attention? For some money? Like, you'd be better off putting on a masquerade mask and going to a script club. And don't nobody know you. If that's what you're finna do, if you're gonna sit on a podcast and be nasty, you could fly to Dubai and pretend you're on a vacation, but really be over there being a porta potty. You see where they got that? It's women who is showing on TikTok that they going to Dubai to be a porta potty. And you know what a porta potty is? It's the portable bathroom. And my wife was telling me about it, that it's a girl who showed what she doing, and she go over there to be a porta potty, which means she going to get boo-booed on in Dubai for $50,000. Coming back with rainworms, all kind of wing worms, lesions, got open soles with pus coming out of it. Over there getting boo-booed on for $50,000. And talk about it on YouTube. Get ready with me. What y'all call that? The GRWM. Get ready with me for when I get ready to go here and get boo-booed on in Dubai. And so but see, a lot of people mind their own business. They don't tell nobody what they doing. So a lot of these women you see over there with them big fake booties in Dubai, with that head wrap on, getting that sand in their eye off that four-wheeler in the dunes, they over there getting doo-dooed on. Over there just pop a squat. Old chic over there. All on them. It's like, if you're going to sit on a podcast and talk nasty, you might as well go over there and get boo-booed on. Because it's going to take you 12 months before you make 50,000 on a podcast. So you might as well go over there. Get on the script club. I remember my homegirl from high school. I bumped into her at the grocery store. I walked around, bumped her. Hey, what's going on? Hey, how you doing, Tony? I'm doing good. How you doing? Had on a little halter top shirt, stopped right here, and had on some little short, booty cheek hanging out. Looked like it was unzipped, unbuttoned, and flipped over. I'm like, okay, what kind of style this is? Shoulder top of your panties style? What is a reverse TLC? What is the CLT? I'm like, what kind of outfit is it? I said, oh yeah, how everything going? You know, what you been up to? She said, oh, I said, you live out here? She's like, yeah. This probably was 19 years ago. And she said, yeah, I dance. I'm like, oh, okay, got your little studio. What you teaching, like hip hop and stuff? No, Tony, I dance. I'm like, okay, what you talking about? You dance? I dance at the club. I'm like, what kind of club? At the script club. I'm like, oh, so you just scripting? Like, wow. I'm like, is that bad? Like, my goodness, you can work at the call center and just put on your phone voice and get some bonus and commission. You could be the person that keep calling me for the bill collectors. Hey, Mr. Gasson, we trying to reach it. Listen, I'll give it to you when I get it now. Stop calling my phone. And so that right there, that's what the adversary want. He want the mother. He want the mother of the house. He want the backbone of the family, the strength of the family, the pillar of the family. That's what he wants. And so now what we're not thinking about and realizing is that this leads to generational trauma. Because that lady on there talking about every kind of way she wanted. If she got children, they don't even have to be of the age to understand or know what she's talking about. But guess who do? They young teachers. They young teachers finna see her. So now she finna walk to the school, or she work a job. She walk around and the principal looking at her. Oh, how are you? How are you doing? Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking maybe you could come to the office for a little meeting. You know, I just want to talk about just how your kids are doing and just how everything's going. She can't even go to school in peace no more. Because now principal know she like it from the bite. Because of the podcast. Principal know they on there want to get all kind of stuff done. And it's like, we got to do better as a society. And so I'm going to tell you, you watch this stuff, you see this stuff for research, you see it for you just seeing what's out there. But after that, block the page. Block the page, click the little button. When you see these reels and you see these, all this right here, it's the 3 buttons in the top corner. I know how it, because I love to click it. Click them 3 buttons. The options come up, and then you click see fewer posts like these. And just start blocking and deleting. I got the hood over there. I need to put that hood up for sale. See, listen. I'm over here. When you sacrifice, you get to create. Now get over there to wealthofhealth.com and get your elderberry gummies. So we can really, y'all forget, I dropped the thing was loud. Hey, I got more products though. Get over there, you hit them 3 dots. It's time to block and delete. Yeah, I got the hoodies. I ain't even dropped these yet. Yeah, this is my consistency necklace. Right here, I got 3 products for sale. Got my consistency necklace, my elderberry gummy. This is what you produce when you get focused in your life. When you stop on podcast talking about your booty hole and what you would like to get put in it, then you get to sit down and use your creativity and become a billionaire because you're creating, because you're not consuming junk. You consuming productivity, positivity. And see, this the thing. So here go the young lady. They on the podcast, and they on the podcast and they talking about all of this right here, nasty stuff. But guess what? The podcast that they inspired by, because one of the ladies' husband got a podcast. Well, Ocho and Shannon Sharp, I seen one clip. Shannon talking about he be digging off in women so deep that the women be boo-booing on themselves. This is what we got to talk about. This is what we got to talk about. It's like, come on, man, bring me on the podcast. Bring me on Club Say. And let's sit down there and talk about something now. Let's talk about something real. Don't nobody want to picture a grown, muscle-bound man digging off in a woman and her boo-booing on herself. Man, we got better stuff to do. But this is where our society at. And you don't understand. What you don't understand is the spiritual aspect of this. The spiritual aspect of this is Satan taking and corroding the minds of generations and turning us over to a reprobate mind so that we live in debauchery and filth, so that we live like Sodom and Gomorrah, so that God will then want to destroy the land because it's so much chaos, so much sin. See, on the spiritual side of it, the small things become large distractions. And people don't understand that. People don't understand that. And this is what you got to think about. Everything that you look at, you got to be mindful of it. And you got to take the spiritual angle. You got to look at it. I was take us the foxes, the little foxes that spoil the vines, for our vines have tender grapes. The small fox, the little things that we overlook, the things that we think don't matter. So we'll look and say, oh, this little conversation, man, just a podcast, man. We just shooting the breeze, man. We just talking, man. It ain't nothing. Don't take it that serious. But no, some people don't have a father in their life, just like the men on the podcast didn't have a father in their life. So while you talking about this stuff, I remember coaching a man who didn't have a father in his life, and he told me that the way he choose women and the way he judge women is based on what he saw in an Eddie Murphy movie. I don't know the name of the movie. I think somebody told me it's called Boomerang or something like that. I couldn't watch PG-13 or R movies growing up. Once my daddy got saved when I was 6 years old, I couldn't watch some kind of movie. So I never seen Boomerang, if that's the name of it. But he said it was a movie where Eddie Murphy, when he in the bed with women, he's sleeping with women, he pulled the cover up and look at their feet. I don't know the name of the movie, so y'all forgive me because y'all know I'm gonna mess something up now. And so this the thing. I'm like, man, so this man making his decisions in life from a movie because he did not have a father. So what these grown men don't understand, when they on the podium, when they on the podcast, when they on this and that, and they talking nasty and talking about they sexcapades and everything they doing, it's young men that takes that as a blueprint and go out to live that out. And people don't understand the power of their voice. When I was in the streets hustling, selling drugs, because some people think hustling, might think I was selling hats or something or t-shirts on the corner. When I was in the street selling drugs, do you know who my blueprint was? Who the sound track was? It was Plies. Plies and Jeezy. Plies had the mixtape called The Real Testament, or it could have been an album. And Jeezy had the album called Thug Motivation. But Plies, he real smart. So now he do just fun music, just kind of caricature music, vibing in the Ritz-Carlton, you know, what he just did the hot tour. It's all kind of like stupid little songs, but they meant to be trendy and to go viral and get a bunch of streams and get downloads and stuff like that. But he doesn't make, Plies don't make thug music no more. And I wrote him several times after I changed my life and I didn't go to prison, and I watched my homeboys go to prison, and some of them doing life, one of them doing 3 life sentences. If you didn't even know you could get 3 life sentences, one of them doing 3 life sentences for murder. And that was my best friend. I used to stay the night at his house. He picked me up for school, dropped me off after school. We parted ways because I got arrested in the 9th grade, and then I had to go to a private school the next year because my AAU basketball coach wanted me to go to private school because the coach was recruiting, and I had good grades. So I was smart, but I was acting up because I was trying to fit in. So after I changed my life later in my 20s, I used to write Plies letters, and I mail it right to his office. And I knew a girl who worked for him, but she never would connect me with him. But I sent him a letter to the office, and I put a picture of about 7 of my homeboys that was in prison. And I told him, your music helped do this. Because when we in the streets, we listening to this, and it's literally a blueprint. It tell us to be off with somebody's head if they cross us. It tell us, and his brother was a big dope boy. Big Gates was known as a big dope boy. So when we listened to it, it became a soundtrack, and it sound crazy. Like people like, man, you gonna let a grown man, you a grown man, you gonna let a grown man tell you what to do? That's where the music that is promoted to the Black culture is raising a generation. That's why what NBA Youngboy said was real. NBA Youngboy, what he said when he said that he sat down and he thought about the lives that he had done cost, Mr. Nation, God bless you, and what his music was doing, and how it became like a blueprint, and how they talk about drill music and all of that. That stuff real. I lived it, and feel stupid to admit it and talk about it, but it changes your brain chemistry. Because if you're not conscious, that's why they call it conscious rap. When people do conscious rap, conscious thinking, your subconscious will pick up everything. And it does not know the difference. The subconscious does not know the difference between fact and fiction. So anything your subconscious hears, it accepts it as fact, and it moves towards it. That's why people use the phrase manifesting, because they have listened to affirmations and they have told themselves things, and their subconscious don't know the difference. It accepts it as fact. Then they confirm it with their conscious mind, and they start to create. So I tell myself I'm going to be a billionaire. So that's why I named my company Billionaire. Just spelt it different, because I tell myself I'm going to be a billionaire. And from that mindset, I tell myself I have to diversify. So that's why I'm sitting here with this chain for sale, with the elderberry gummies for sale. That's a vegan product. And with that hoodie for sale that I just had over here. And I got 2-3 more hoodies, 2-3 more t-shirts. I got 13, 15 companies. I stopped counting. I got so many companies. GoDaddy probably wondering, is I'm getting ready to take over the world because I got about 100 domains. Because what you tell yourself or what you hear, what you end up believing, you move towards it. So what these podcasts is not realizing, and you send this to every podcast creator, because when they on that long drive, because they can't afford no flight, but they online acting like they got money, but they got to drive 21 hours across the country to get back to their home state because they can't afford that flight, they're going to listen to this video. When they up at night because they can't sleep because them demons is disrupting their sleep because they working against God, and God will not let you sleep peacefully if you in the field and you done lined up, cross that line versus God. If your message ain't pushing people closer to God, it's pulling people from God. And when you do that, you have just waged war against God. You are in spiritual warfare and you are going to suffer. You're going to suffer every day. You're going to suffer every night. Your pain going to look like you blessed because you shining and you blanging, but you're going to suffer behind closed doors because what you doing is going to get you in trouble. And just like them women that started this new podcast, Humble Baddies, they're going to end up all of them with an STD because the men that will be okay with that type of woman gonna also be cheating and gonna eventually bring home a disease. If it don't happen in a year, it'll happen in 5 years because the wages of sin is death. You cannot wage war against God and win. If what you're doing on the World Wide Web is not moving society forward, if you're not encouraging people, challenging people, uplifting people, holding people accountable, making people look in the mirror and see themselves so that they want to grow and be better, then you are a op to the Lord. And you're going to get slid on. And the way you're going to get slid on is by your own boss because you're working for the devil. And the devil does not have honor. There is no honor amongst thieves. And so you will be alienated. You will be set out to be destroyed because you will not have a hedge of protection. Your grandma prayers will not protect you if you remain in willing sin and you promoting filth and debauchery in the name of shooting the breeze and having fun, because nothing that exits our lips is inconsequential. Every single thing that we say, it takes place in the world. It is a stronghold for the good or the bad. It becomes a movement when you open your mouth. If you on the World Wide Web, you have to be responsible. If you on a pulpit, if you in the classroom, if you raising children, you have to be responsible for everything you say and everything you do, because blood is on your hands and you will answer to God if you are working against his people. And I don't know if y'all remember this or not. Some of y'all remember this, but when the man, Kevin Samuels, was blowing up, and some of y'all was sending me his videos. Now, for one thing about me, as a grown man, I'm not finna sit down and watch no fool. If I see for 1 minute that somebody is a fool, they're not finna get my attention. That's why that podcast, The Humble Baddies, it was 60-second clip that I seen where the lady talking about she like it in the booty hole and she like to swallow and she like it doggy style and all of that. That was in 60 seconds. Unless y'all send me another clip later, they would never get a second of my time. I do not listen to fools. And when that man started talking, when Kevin Samuels started talking, it was a few messages that y'all sent me. One of the messages was laughing in the face of Christians. A lady say she a Christian, so therefore she don't want to have sex before marriage, and he laughed in her face. And he asked her, do you got kids? She says she got kids. Then he said, well, if you got kids, you can't say you don't want to have sex before marriage because you already had sex. Why is it fair to the next man for you now to be abstinent? And the reason it's fair is because you can grow up and learn from your mistakes and you can stop being foolish. The reason why she already got a child and she a single mother is because she was being foolish and she picked a deadbeat man. So she's supposed to learn and to grow and to change. Otherwise, she's going to get another man and get pregnant from him. And I see this in my own family. I got a family member with 4 kids from 4 different relationships, and they all long-term relationships that lasted years, but not one single marriage, because the lesson was never learned. And until you get the lesson, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over. Another video y'all sent me from Kevin Samuels, he was telling women, don't go on no date after 5 o'clock if you don't want to have sex. Because if you go on a date after 5 o'clock, you got to have sex. And so he was promoting fornication, and he was telling women that you can't be abstinent, that if you done had a child, if you done had sex, you ain't got no hope. You need to accept what you can get and all of this. And I say that is against the word of God. And I don't know if y'all remember when I came on here and I did a video and I say, listen, I say, brother, you better tread lightly. You better tread lightly. Because when you promote a lifestyle that is contrary to the life that God has instructed us to live, you're going to lose that battle. You will not beat God. Everywhere in the Bible, it lets you know that in the end, we win. And if you want to get on the front line for Satan and you want to promote debauchery and filth and disgustingness, it's like this right here. These ladies on this Humble Baddies, it's another one that I can't remember. They got some lips on there. You know, it's all kind of women sitting around a microphone talking, just like all kind of men sitting around a microphone talking. And it's so many of them is stupid. But if you see like the young lady who did the podcast I went on out of Atlanta, totality. She could sit on that podcast if she wanted to and talk about how she liked to have sex. But what did she decide to do as a mother of multiple children that got to go to school? She decided to sit on there and talk about the word of God. And the podcast going crazy. The podcast doing numbers. They about to do all kind of stuff. So you don't have to be raunchy and filthy to be known or to make money. Like, you ain't got to be Christian. You don't want to be no Christian. Okay, God bless you. Hell is hot. God bless you. Go ahead, live your life. I'm gonna be in heaven. I'm gonna be. You gonna be down there with Lazarus, want a drop of water on your tongue. I'm gonna be in heaven. Hey, God bless you. Hey, you keep your head up. Hey, I know it's hot. Hey, here goes some elderberry gummies. Hey, big now. Hey, you want me to throw something down there, Lord? They can have some of these. Let's go ahead. Do what you want to do. But you still could be positive. You still could be a light. You still could represent for your children. So when your children got to go to school and they got to hear about you from their friends, like my son just came to me the other day. He said, Daddy, I say, man, I struggle today caring about what people think. I say, that's why I don't even like to post on Instagram. I don't post last 2 days in a row, but Instagram, if you don't post, it's purging bots and people closing their account. So my account go down like 1,000 people every week or every 2 weeks because I don't post to gain more reach. And I got over 900,000 followers. I done sat over 900,000 followers for like a year or two. I don't like Instagram. It's not my thing. I don't like social media, period. So I told my son, I said, man, I be worrying about what people think because my Instagram is totally different than my YouTube. My YouTube, I've never seen a celebrity on here. They may watch it, but I've never seen a celebrity on it. My Instagram is full of celebrities that follow me. So I don't be feeling right telling them what to do. So I don't like posting videos on Instagram, but I post yesterday and today, and I'm going to keep, when I get the time, I'm going to go live, do my little 10-minute, 15-minute video. And when I said that to my son, he say, yeah, such and such. He talking about his homeboy, his best friend. He say, such and such just asked me, hey, why your dad don't make them reels no more? He didn't say it like that. He speak proper. Hey, why doesn't your dad make reels anymore? And my son was like, I don't know. Like, man, tell him he need to make those videos again. You know why? Because in them videos, I'm raising these young men. In them videos, I'm talking about stuff that they dad not talking to them about. I'm talking to these young men about stuff that they don't oftentimes hear about. So that's why he told that to my son. And that's what we need to be doing as parents with a microphone, as leaders with a microphone. We need to be being positive. We need to be getting people's soul closer to the Lord instead of just pushing debauchery. It's like, okay, if you want to talk about sports, talk about sports. You want to talk about money, talk about money. You want to talk about real estate, talk about real estate. You want to talk about credit, talk, all that stuff matters. But don't talk about debauchery and filth and disgustingness and what's done in the dark. Don't talk about private matters and got that running through people's mind, and then got these children going out there. So guess what? These grown women that's on this podcast, and there's a lot of them out there. I'm just saying this name because this is the one that was sent to me today. But these grown women is on this podcast, and it's gonna be, what's the youngest person you know on Instagram? He got the algorithm. It's 13-year-old girls with an Instagram. My niece on there, she's 17. I only got 2 nieces. My niece on there, she's 17. Guess what? She got a boyfriend. When they get online, they finna see the humble baddies talking about they like to swallow, and they like it from the back, and they like in the booty hole. So now my 17-year-old niece who got a boyfriend finna hear these ideas. Okay. Well, these women are beautiful. Like, these women are gorgeous. Like, so this is what men like? Like, oh man, so maybe I should. So you mean to tell me you're supposed to let your boyfriend put it in your feces chute? Where you boo-boo? And what is lube? On Google. What is lube? So now, on there with their Cash App card that the parent had to authorize, and they ordered lube for the bike seat of the car. Because these beautiful women is talking about masturbation, elders, the rose. And I ain't just talking about that podcast. I'm talking about all the podcasts. This is what women talking about. It's like, listen, man, get your money up. Like, talk about how you build your relationship with a man. Talk about how you raise your children. Talk about how you do your lashes, how you got that lace front looking natural. Talk about your shoe game. Show your closet. We don't want to hear about that diseased body from all that nastiness you got going on, that if you ain't caught no disease yet, it's on the way. It is on the way. Because if you with somebody that is okay with you running your mouth like that, talking nasty, it's finna be some diseases brewing. And we ain't got to know about it. Done cleaned out the whole aisle. Vagisil, monostat. We can't go in there and get none if we need it. Cause y'all podcasters, the aisle is wiped out. You in there with all kind of down there to the clinic. That's why people be flying over to Colombia and all that. They ain't just flying out. These celebrities, they ain't just flying out the country to vacation. They flying out the country to go to the clinic to get some pills for them STDs from another country, because they can't trust the office manager of the clinic in Miami or Atlanta or whatever. So they flying out the country faking like they on a vacation over there getting the pills to keep them breakouts down, while they on the podcast promoting filth and nastiness. And then these kids got to see it. Here you got the kid watching it. And how does the mind work? I want you to pay attention as a grown-up. I want you to pay attention as a grown-up. And I want you to pay attention to how what you see affects your mind. I'm going to give you an example. My lip swole up the other day from something I ate. And you know what I ate? Cucumber recipe that a white boy made on TikTok. And it then went viral. So now my wife made the cucumber recipe. A lot of stuff in my house in the pantry is containers and stuff like that from TikTok that my wife seen. Like what we see, and to God be the glory, it ain't nothing toxic that she's seeing. And she'll sit there and she'll show me, she just be kikiing and laughing at her little timeline and just be showing the videos and all that. But her life is easy. Like her life is at ease. So I appreciate that. And I like that. That's all she got to worry about, is making sure the kids dropped off and picked up and, doing her little thing. And then she get a little kick and watch her little videos on TikTok and make her little videos on TikTok. Her life is soft life. I'm working, I'm providing, I'm walking in my purpose. And so I appreciate taking the darts, being on the front line for my family. I appreciate that. I want them to have a soft life, and I can have a hard life. I could be a front liner. I could be a warrior in the spiritual warfare, working for the Lord. And I noticed just by looking at my own family, my wife and my son, my wife and my oldest son, even my youngest son, he will come and want to try, what you call it, freeze-dried candy. He wanted to try freeze-dried candy because he's seen it on YouTube. So I want you to pay attention, and I want you to think about how what you see and what you hear affects your life. And then tell me that these podcasts don't matter. Tell me that they have no bearing on your life. I want you to pay attention to your emotional meter after you listen to one of these toxic podcasts. And I want you to identify how you feel a little discouraged. You feel a little enraged. You feel a little upset. You feel a little depressed because of what you just heard. Sounds just so terrible to hear that mindset from these men or these women, that you lose a little bit of hope. You literally do not listen to this stuff online and then be like, because listen to my stuff. It be people be in my comments talking about, man, this make me not want to have a relationship. And I'm giving away the game in a positive way. So imagine what somebody feel when they listening to debauchery. It's like, come on now. You got to use your head, not the one in your pants. And people don't be thinking before they speaking. And so these podcasts is out here, and you have to mute them. You got to turn them off. You got to block and delete. You got to get it off your timeline, because it will destroy your life. Slowly but surely, it will destroy your life. You will be sitting there, and before you know it, you will be subconsciously following those toxic, immature messages that you've heard online. And join the front line. Join the front line. And it's a lot of celebrities, a lot of people on the podcast who got a podcast. They follow me. They don't want me on their podcast because they think I'm too holy. They think I'm gonna be judging them. They don't want me on the podcast. And then the ones who do want me on the podcast typically just want me on there for views. They're just trying to monetize. They don't care nothing about the message. They trying to monetize. They just want the view. They just want the clout. They don't care nothing about the message. And so you got to think about it. And when you look at this stuff, just ask, okay, what is this adding to my life? And the reason why I speak like this, because I know everything travel. I know these podcasts that got these toxic podcasts, somebody gonna send them this video and they gonna find the time to listen to it. And if they got any relationship with God, if they grandma prayed, if they mama prayed, they're gonna feel a conviction in their spirit. And if they decide to keep spreading debauchery and foolishness and disgustingness and destroying the minds of the youth, knowing that it's on the World Wide Web, that anybody could see it, they finna go through hell on earth. Because that spiritual warfare, when you don't have the armor of God, and you cannot, it's impossible to have the armor of God if you're outside of the will of God. If you're not teaching and preaching and leading in the will of God. Oh, somebody else sent me a video. I'm gonna watch that. Somebody sent me a video about the pastor in Houston and the reality TV producer wife that he got. I ain't get to look at it, but I like to look at this stuff because these people in the media, I understand how the mind works because I've been susceptible to it. I've been a victim of it, and I'm still susceptible to it today because you'll be listening subconsciously, but not consciously refuting what you're hearing. So if you don't consciously refute what you hear, and guess what? I ain't said nothing on here. I ain't said nothing on here that'll hurt nobody. And it be people who will be in my comments refuting me. And everything I'm saying is going to better your life. And it will be people, they demons, they work for the devil. I understand spiritual warfare. And they come to cause discord. They come to cause confusion. That's why this is called the blessed tribe. Notice this not called Tony's crew. Notice this not called Tony's tribe. The members who are in here in the chat who could talk is called the blessed tribe. God gave me that name to speak blessings over your life. So that was intentional because I don't want followers. If you listen to me talk, only time you'll hear me say followers and you'll hear me say it's because that's what they call it. I don't say I have 3.5 million followers. I don't say that publicly. I'll say I have 3.5 million supporters, 3.5 million spectators, 3.5 million people online. I don't call people followers and I don't call people fans. Everything is intentional. If you notice, a lot of people say, hey, this is for my fans. I'm doing this here for my fans. That right there is the wrong mentality to have. We should not have fans. We should not have followers. You watching me, but follow God. You see me, you hear me, but follow God. We should not, as podcasters, as leaders, as teachers, as YouTubers, we should not want fans. We should not want flowers. We should not want followers. And I tell people all the time, when you get on the phone with me for a coaching session, do not say thank you to me for nothing. Thank God. Because for one, that's not wisdom to thank a human who you can't see how they live their life behind closed doors. You don't know what I'm doing behind closed doors. So you can't thank me. You got to thank God. If something come out of my mouth and it helped change your life, you got to give the glory to God. And people say all the time, Tony, I know you say you don't like to hear thanks, but I just got to thank you. No, you're being rebellious and you're living in sin because God told me to divert fame, praise, and attention because it is poison. So if you hear me say that, and I don't say nothing on the phone, I don't get in no argument, I don't go out the way, and I don't stop them. And I realize some people just be having diarrhea of the mouth because they're nervous. They on the phone, it's their first coaching call with a life coach, and they just be nervous, and it just be like filler words. And they know I said, do not give me thanks. And see, some people think some people, if you're not of God, if you don't walk with the Lord, you would call that fake humility. You would call that fake humility. Listen, thank you don't do nothing for me. You want to do something for me? Get you some of these. Get you some of these. Because it's going to bless you and it's going to bless me. Thank you don't do nothing for me. That just blow up somebody's ego. Get you a product. Get on wealthofhealth.com. You want to thank me? Get on wealthofhealth.com. Don't tell me no thank you. Tell the Lord thank you. But see, the thing about it is the people that the devil is raising up today, they want to be famous. And see, some people are using the name of God to be famous. Some people using the name of God so they could be in the limelight. They just want to be famous. They just want to be known. They just want to be seen. That's why I stopped doing podcasts. If I already did a podcast, it's no need for me to do it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I already talked to your audience. So I already came, I did. Now it's time for me to go to other podcasts. Ain't no use of me being no regular guest on your podcast when I got my own podcast. Because a lot of these podcasts, they caught up in the money. They ain't caught up in changing lives. They just want views and money. And the Lord has showed me that. So we have to have accountability in the space. That's why the podcast I'm starting, we talking positivity. And you know what? It's finna be right here on the computer like this right here. You ain't finna do all no big old budget, all that right there, all spending all that money, all that right there. No, we on the computer talking, and we finna talk about manhood, growth, walking with the Lord, sacrifice, discipline, things that's gonna move the needle, move the ball down the field. And this is what we got to realize and understand. And you have to guard your eyes and ears. Y'all got to forgive my wife texting about my son soccer practice. Talking about how confident he playing. Tell him still on live. And she know I'm on live and she texts me. You know why? Because when you connect it like that and you taking care of your wife, your text message is her journal. It's her journal. Because, and that's where my focus at. Not sitting online talking about sexual positions and being nasty. That's a Jezebel spirit. And see, the reason why you see these people out there talking nasty and doing all this right here, it's a Jezebel spirit because they trying to call attention. And so, and the thing about it is, like the Bible say, is Danielle, stop putting your question in the comment section. I already see it. You filling up the comment section. This ain't a Q&A right now. I'll let you know when I get the Q&A. I ain't got to lead till 8:45. So this right here, the word flowing. God bless you. Keep your head up. Keep going. And this the thing. This is a Jezebel spirit, and they calling other Jezebel spirits. So they getting on podcasts saying they want you up the dookie shoot. So if you freaky, you finna slide in the DM. And these people, they get so addicted to money that I'm seeing so many women selling their body online because they want a man with some money. Anytime I see these Hollywood women get single, they go to posing from the bike in thong bikinis. They go to doing all kind of sensual posing, trying to get the attention of a man. Because who want to see that? Who want to see your booty in a thong online when our kids is online? And the algorithm don't know no different. The algorithm just gonna show what's viral, what's out there. Don't nobody, but see, when you change your spirit, this one thing I noticed. See, when my spirit wasn't right, that stuff was enticing. It was attractive. It was like, okay, oh, all right, you want to get a little handler going. When my spirit got right and the Lord convicted me and he renewed me, when I see a woman in a thong bathing suit or her booty cheeks is out, I smell doo-doo. It immediately turned my stomach. I smelled doo-doo because I realized that that is a mental health issue to lust after a trash disposal. Doo-doo come out of there. So how are we lusting after a dookie shoot? And there is no such thing as a booty that don't stink, because the cheeks is rubbing. So I start to realize and understand how when your spirit is filthy, something that is filthy like a booty will be sexy. How is a dookie shoot sexy? See, this is the thing, how crazy it is. This is how crazy it is. When you think about this thing, when you really think about it, you like, man, you know what? You right. You right. That thing hairy and stink. And boo got to come out of there every day. So what is you lusting after? See, but what's here? What's here? It's everything. The mind, the spirit, the heart. Everything is here. So this right here, what need to be attractive. And from here, what come out of here is here. So if you sit down in front of a microphone and you want to tell me about what sexual positions you like, you just let me know your mind is filthy. And all you got in your mind is filth. You're nasty and you're disgusting because you're talking about the private public. So that let me know you have been turned over to a reprobate mind, meaning basically you're crazy. You was lost. You are confused. And folks get mad about it. Folks get mad about the truth, and I'm going to tell you, the devil get mad. And see, this is the thing. What people don't realize about spiritual warfare is the reason why a lot of us who talking, we get threatened. You could get threatened with violence because when the devil can't win spiritually, it go to physical. That's why fights happen. That's why the boys in the streets of Chicago and Memphis and St. Louis and LA and everywhere, Orlando, Miami, is taking each other's life. Because it's not that they want to take somebody's life. Like I pictured that the other day. The other day, I was in the bathroom and I'm brushing my teeth or something, about to get in the shower. And I pictured somebody busting in my door because I heard a loud noise. I pictured somebody busting in my door. And I pictured them running through my house. And I pictured them pulling out a gun to shoot me. And I felt that in my heart. And I say, man, how hard would it be to up that fire on somebody and take their life? Like, imagine that feeling. You think a 16-year-old boy want to do that? You think anybody in their right mind get pleasure out of that? You think that just happened without fear, without pain, without trauma, without anger, without self-hate? Like, just really imagine that. Imagine yourself doing that. That's spiritual warfare. You are demonically possessed. And so that's why people get upset. But see, it's a line in the sand. It's a line in the sand. You got to get right. You got to get left. It's a line in the sand. And what people not realizing is you got to be okay to walk alone. Because when you start to live righteous, it ain't that you looking down your nose at nobody. You'll help anybody. I have coached prostitutes. I have coached strippers. I have coached gay men. I have coached gay women. It's people that live contrary to my beliefs who follow me online. There are sex workers who follow me online. They want a little bit of light in their darkness. But one day, they're going to come all the way to the light. I coached a young lady, probably was last year. And I said, okay, I have demographical questions at the beginning of my coaching call. And I ask a person, I fill out my demographic so I know who I'm talking to, because you talk to people differently based on if they're a mother or not, if they married or not. It's different messages, different listening styles and questions. And I coach a young lady, absolutely beautiful. What online, honestly, she looked like my wife. Like when I look at her image, look like my wife. Guess what? She was a stripper. Would never know it. Would never know it. And I was completely shocked. And I don't know, she wasn't coming to get off the pole. She wasn't coming to change her life. It really was like, let me talk to him and see if he gonna shoot his shot when I tell him I'm an exotic dancer. Let me see if he live what he teach. And the phone call was the phone call, and after the phone call, that was it. I'm not fit to reach out to you. I'm not fit. It's another young lady that I coach, got millions of followers, twerking online all the time. She told me on a coaching call, she said, Tony, out of the thousands of men that I have met, out of all of the celebrities, out of all of the speakers, out of all of the people, she say, it's only you and one other man who have not tried me. And the other man, she said, and I think he a podcaster, but he from the secular world. So but he is, I don't know the term for it. That's not derogatory. Like coming up, you call him like a lame, like I don't know what you call it. Socially awkward or square or something like that. But that I don't know another term, but he's not a ladies' man. So I could see why he wouldn't come at her. Now with my past, I'm supposed to shoot my shot now. One would think, oh, you this close to a twerker with millions of followers, every celebrity trying to sleep with her, and you on the phone with her for an hour here, hour there, you could shoot your shot. But what I showed these women, what I showed them is that God is a redeemer, that Christ is a redeemer. It ain't about who I was. It's about who he can make you, who he can help you become. I showed them that Christ is a redeemer. And what the Lord said to me, because in the beginning, when I started talking to celebrities, it was a slippery slope. Well, I was ready to shoot my shot every day. Well, it was hard now. It was hard. And it's hard because you've seen people fail. You've seen Torrey Roberts leave his wife and get with TD Jake's daughter. I have had the same opportunity with countless women of valor, women of whatever. You seen Keon Henderson leave his wife and then get with Shawnee O'Neal. Celebrity. These men left average everyday women, meaning everyday women, and they got with millionaires. I done had the same opportunity. You seen Devon Franklin, first marriage, instead of going and getting an executive at Google, he get Megan Good, who now is crying over another man and been divorced from Devon this long. and it's nothing. Had to have a whole box of Kleenex. Through the fire. I'm like, when I seen that, I'm like, Devon, how you pick? Okay, God bless her. Like, invited to Bible study. All the breasts out. All the breasts out. He went acting like King Solomon. When the women who served other gods took him away from God and he started being around other gods because of all his concubines. Somebody asked in the crowd, a Christian, a God-fearing woman, she say, I got a question for you, Devon and Megan. What about as far as like the way, Megan, the way that you dress and like just it being revealing and things of like that? Like, or do you feel like, here go Devon. No, we are not going to do that. That is not what we're going to do. She's going to step out here and she's going to be fly in the name of the Lord. Listen, the Bible say don't be a hindrance to your brethren. You see Megan Good on the runway, you looking for you some lotion. Hey, big now, make lotion. Y'all Bible say don't be a hindrance to your brethren. Why do you think that divorce happened? Because what God put together, let no man put asunder. It was not of God. So what I'm trying to tell you is it's opportunity out here now. It's opportunity. It's a lot of opportunity to get with a Jezebel, to get with a millionaire. You know how many single millionaire women I done coach? My wife is a stay-at-home mom. So men, one thing we think about is money. We think about power couple. We think about this right here. We think about that. So you don't think the devil done tried to play on my wife and make her insecure and try to play on me and say, man, you don't want one of these boss women, man. One of these women making 7 figures. Like, can you imagine if you get with such and such? She a woman of God. Got that podcast, doing conferences. Man, y'all could take over. And that's exactly what Sarah Jakes said about Torrey. Talking about even though he cute, she ain't see that. She saw what they could do in the kingdom. No, you're not doing nothing in the kingdom because he was married when you met him. That ain't kingdom business. God, you trying to tell me your God, the God, the Father of Jesus Christ, who got cattle on 1,000 hills, got to pluck you a husband from another woman? But guess what, though? That money, the love of money is the root of all evil. Because you know what? I done talked to celebrity ex-wives. I done talked to ex-wives who they husband done left them for a celebrity or done left them for a woman with who is prettier. And they be getting ready to go and do them some podcasts, do them a book. And that man hear about that. He opened that bank account. He go all the money. I can't have you out here telling the business, man. Hey, here go all what you need. An Escalade. Oh, here. You want a Range Rover? You want a house? You and your new boyfriend? You and your new fiance? Y'all, here you go. Yeah, y'all have everything. Hey, y'all come on over, man. We want to talk. We want to co-parent. We want to be together. Listen, they go to keeping that thing copacetic because that's not of God. Listen, the only way I'm going to divorce my wife is if I catch her sleeping with another man. That's the only way. And guess what? I'm going to let her live. And the Lord might tell me to let him live. And you know what? I'm going to go about my business. I'm going to go about my business. And I'm not finna remarry. I'm finna do the work of the Lord abstinent. Like Apostle Paul. But see, we're not thinking about God's glory. We're thinking about earthly advancement. We're thinking about enlarging a carnal, secular territory. Because God not finna have you divorce your wife to enlarge your territory. That's not how God works. Because the Bible speaks against divorce unless someone is unfaithful. Unless the woman is unfaithful, a man not supposed to divorce his wife. And one thing I have found, tell you one thing I have found. One thing I have found is that a man has the power to heal, help heal a woman's heart. Because see, although God does everything, he will use us. If you notice, he used humans to do his work. So that's why he sent Christ. God could have just, as a spirit, healed the blind, raised the dead, but he sent his son in flesh and blood to carry out his work. So a man can be a catalyst in a woman's life. A woman can be a catalyst in a man's life. So what I have found in 17 years of marriage is that my wife's temperature is set by me. That as her husband, as the head of the household, as her covering, if I treat her with love and respect, she reciprocates love and respect. So I'm never going to have to leave my wife because of disrespect. What I have found that no matter how tough a woman is, she submits to the voice of a man who has submitted to God. But listen, there are women who submit to the voice of a man who has submitted to the voice of Satan. What you think a pimp is? How can a pimp exist? Like look at Pimpin' Ken or whoever the Bishop Don Juan. Them men is ugly. Now I can't tell you what no handsome man look like. I can just tell you if all his features look normal and they look put together, them men is ugly. So how is ugly men pimps? Like, how did you get a woman to submit to your voice? And then now they bring in the pimp hand. Pimp hand strong. But think about that. That right there shows you that a woman is created for a man. And that a woman will submit and follow any man. There are dope boys, grown boys, idiots, imbeciles, numb brains who got a woman in submission to them. So that's why a man can't tell me that he got to go through a divorce if he truly walking with God. Because if you walking with God and you want your woman to lose weight, go to the gym and say, hey, we going to the gym. She gonna go to the gym. You want your woman to dress better? Hire a fashion stylist. She gonna talk with that fashion stylist. There's no reason for divorce if you are a man of God, because if God got you, he gonna have her. And she gonna see God in you and on you. And she gonna hear your voice and she gonna hear God through you. That's why Ephesians 5 say, wives, submit unto your husband as unto the Lord. Why do you think Sarah called Abraham Lord? Because that is the way God created it, for a woman to melt in the arms of a man. And so when you become a man and you become a leader, you become a man of God, it's not going to be hard to have a woman that's going to see the vision and hold your hand and support you and walk with you. And she's going to know how to speak to you. She's going to know how to speak life. She's going to know how to give you some ideas and help you go to the next level because you're on one accord. And God is at the center. When the twain become one, God at the center. But see, we living in this world where people don't understand their influence and people don't really believe in God. We got Christian atheists who just focus on money and will do anything for money and do anything for earthly advancement. And you got to think about it. And they not like Christian or anything, but look at Swiss Beats. So you got pastors doing it, but then look at Swiss Beats. He left for everyday woman, pretty lady, left for Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys wrote the song, Let's Do the Unthinkable, right around that time. Because she knows she had them bumped her head. And it's no honor amongst thieves, stealing hearts. Ain't no honor amongst women. If your man want to leave you, the next woman gonna take him. The next woman will get right in line. It ain't now a woman that done told a man, no, I don't want you to get a divorce. Go back to your wife and work it out. And meant it. If this man got money or he got a name or he got status, the woman gonna wait right over there and not even question like, well, how y'all went through a divorce? How y'all went through a divorce and you a pastor? How you know God and went through a divorce? Like it's not computing. This ain't really adding up because this God who could do anything. That's that God who could do anything. You went through a divorce. Oh, so you must have stepped out of the will of God. Because now if you in the will of God, man, guess what? Your marriage finna get better. Like when my marriage was struggling, I was outside of the will of God. I was not living by the fruits of the Spirit. I was not patient and loving and kind. When I almost lost my marriage, when I almost destroyed everything, when everything almost imploded, I was outside of the will of God. I wasn't in fornication. I wasn't in adultery, but my heart was not a heart after God's heart. I was operating in ego, in pride, and almost lost it all. But see, when you know God and you can hear the voice of God before you get too far, he gonna call you. Son, I know you hear me. Listen to me. Open my word. Turn to Ephesians. Learn how to be a man. Read the book of Proverbs. I told you, seek wisdom. You can't worship God and money. Seek wisdom. Live purpose on purpose. See, when you sensitive to the Spirit, God gonna get you before you get too far. And one thing that I have found is when a man's heart is in the right place, a woman's heart is caressed in his hand. Like when I'm living the way God has instructed me to live as a man, as a leader, as a husband, as a father, the way my wife loved me is overwhelming. And I'm telling you the honest to God's truth. It literally almost, I'd be like, oh my goodness, Lord, like, can you get her to be quiet? Like, Lord, I can't even think. She talking so much. Lord, can you get her to get off of me? Like, stop. Lord, I'm gonna rip my clothes off. Lord, I'm trying to get in the bed. Come on now. I didn't know that the love was like this now. I'm like, I need to be toxic. Lord, I'm gonna have to be toxic. Lord, can I be toxic for a day? Because I need a break. Like the love is so overwhelming. It's impossible to go through a divorce when you are a true man of God. because the love from God, it's all encompassing. It conquers all. The way you love that woman gonna knock her socks off because you remember Christ and you remember the sacrifice when he died on that cross, and you remember Ephesians 5 say, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church. And when you draw that parallel, you can't escape it. I'm gonna tell you what happened last night. I said, babe, I'm gonna come home. Done for work. We're gonna meet at home at the same time. Getting ready to go home. She said, okay. She tell me, are you still on live? I'm like, yeah, I'm on live. She said, okay. When you get home, I got to go pick up some pictures that I had printed out at Walgreens for Tatum, and I got to gas up the Escalade. So I'm going home, and I'm like, no, it's cool. I'll do it. Now I didn't feel like it. I'd have been sitting here talking to y'all all these hours. I'm tired. I'm drained. I'm ready to go home. Get back. Relight. But it's after 9 o'clock. So the Lord say that he's a protector. So if he a protector, I'm supposed to protect my wife. So I said, I can't let her go out the house, even though she grown, even though she independent, even though she's strong, even though she can do it all. I ain't finna let her go out in the dark because it's crazy stuff that be happening. So just in case, I'm gonna be out here because I know kung fu. Not literally, but Holy Spirit kung fu. I'm gonna beat the brakes off for you. You hit me in the name of the Lord. And I ain't had to train no MMA, but you finna get these hands. And I guarantee you. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go. I did not feel like it, but I did it with a smile. So then this is how she tests me now. Now I don't know if she was testing me because she's very self-sufficient, she's very independent, strong Jamaican woman. And so I'm about to bag up. She said she walking the dog. She about to take the dog out. She said, yeah. She said, when you back out, I'm gonna go ahead and get the trash. So now I got to go to Walgreens and I got to stop by the gas station, gas up. I'm tired now. I done work 12-hour shift. And I say she finna take out the trash. Throw the car in park. Hot out. Oh no, hold on. I'm gonna go get it. I'll take it out. She's like, no, I got it. You know, I know you're tired. I know you finna go. Now I could do it. I got it. She's like, I still got to bag up trash and stuff like that and put it in there. I said, no, I got it. I'm gonna do it. I said, let me do that right there. So now I'm getting the trash, taking the trash out, then going to Walgreens to pick up the pictures, then stopping to get some gas after I done worked me a 12-hour shift now. And she offering to do it. But the Lord said no. And then what happened is yesterday, I called and I thought, and I say, let me book her a massage tomorrow, a deep tissue massage. And then she went and did the massage today. Yeah, $250. I ain't got $250 bill collector calling me. But hey, the bill can wait because tomorrow ain't promised. So if the Lord say today my last day, who do I want to know love me? Who do I want to know that I love them? The bank or my wife? I'm finna put my wife first. Y'all can wait. It ain't even 30 days late yet. Y'all need. I paid on day 29. What is y'all calling me for? Don't be calling me, man. I got to spend $250 for my wife to get this massage. But see, that's what the Lord will call you to, a place of selflessness. So let me ask you this. What woman is going to cheat on a man, disrespect a man, or leave a man who is loving her in the fruits of the Spirit and the way Christ loves his church? Only a demon. And so at that point, be gone. God bless you. Keep your head up. If you don't change your life, you're going to bust hell wide open. God bless you. But what also with that type of love, what will it do to a heart? It will renew a heart. That's why I don't be understanding when Christian men and when pastors go through divorces. Because I'm like, where was God at? Because that's not the God that I know. Because I done saw the God that we know, that we claiming to know. I done saw that God fix a marriage. when we are in his will and in his way, and we out of our will, we out of our way, and we in his will and his way. I done seen how that worked. I done lived it. Because I ain't no better than no other man. But I'm willing to submit to the Lord. And when you do that, it's hard. It's impossible to lose. Like, he covers your mistakes. Like, he covers your ignorance. He covers your learning curve. Like, I'm like, Lord, now, I don't know this part about life. Like, I know this part over here, but I don't know this part about life. So in this part of life over here, like this business or finances or credit or investing or whatever it may be, Lord, I don't know that part. Lord, you know where I come from. So, Lord, I done made mistakes over here. He said, I see it. Now, here go the lesson. I done connect you with this person right here. Get wisdom, get knowledge, get understanding. When your heart has changed, I'm gonna cover you, and I'm gonna send a blessing. I'm gonna send a windfall. And now that I have put you in position to be educated, now you better do right. And that's what he'll do. But see, we're not thinking about the images we seeing, the messages we hearing, and how we live in our life. And so what the Lord called me, and I'm praying for time freedom. I'm praying for opportunity to speak truth to power. And y'all gonna get tired of seeing me. And you know why? Because not everybody could see every video. Not everybody get to be on here. And y'all finna get tired of seeing me. And you know why? Because honestly, if I got to go alone, and I know there's people out there on the front line, but one thing about the Lord is he don't have us looking left and right. You keep your eye on the mark of the high calling. It ain't looking, it ain't comparing, it ain't doing nothing. And you got to know your season. You got to know your season. And one thing what the Lord is going to do is let you know your season. The Lord going to let you know your season. So you got to pay attention to it. So right now, what the Lord telling me, and you got to hear, and everything line up with his word. So in his word, it tells you that if you can't take care of your home, you ain't fit to lead nowhere else. So what the Lord tell me is be there for your wife first. And I remember something. I was getting ready to open a church. And this real story. I tell real stories. I was getting ready to open a church. And one of the pastors that I called was Keon Henderson out of Houston. I call him. I call a black pastor I know out of Virginia that work at the NBA Players Association camp every year. I call my daddy because he used to be a pastor. And I call my college football teammate who is a pastor. Now, the last guy, he was the outsider because he was a white guy. He might be a year or two younger than me. He's a white guy. And he became a pastor. He was going to a church and something happened with the pastor. The pastor was getting old or whatever. And they just liked him. You know, it looked like one of them white boys off them nasty book covers that women be reading. The white man have his shirt off and be standing up looking all crazy and all that. You know, tall, handsome, played wide receiver in college, got him a little beard, got him a beautiful wife, beautiful family. And I talked to these pastors. And I remember Keon Henderson, he was like, yeah, man, you could come up under us. You come up under. And he was like, man, my wife had just told me to call you. She was like, you need to call Tony. And he was like, Tony who? Like Tony Gassing. And she was like, I ain't really know what she was talking about, but it's crazy that you hitting me up right now. And I was like, wow, this was before they divorced, of course. And his wife before the one he with. And so I thought about it and, start me a church. And then I called the other two, my dad and the other pastor. All three of them said the same thing. They say, if God called you to it, do it. And your woman got to follow you. It don't matter how she feel, what she thinking. Your woman got to follow you. Keon didn't say all of that, but the other two did. And when I called my homeboy, who younger than me now, everybody else my elder. He younger than me, I think. I don't know how old Keon is. And he said, well, if your wife says she's not ready to be a first lady, then you should not do it. Because your wife is your first ministry. I said, my God. My God. So that's the leadership of Christ. You got to be able to lead your home first. And that's why I decided to get off the road, because I was on the road every week in one season of my life, and some weeks 3 to 5 days a week. My wife was like a single mom. Like when I would come home, her energy would feel like what I would imagine a zombie energy would feel like. Like, because she didn't sign up to have a busy life with 2 kids by herself. And I was gone. I was on the road. I'm living my dream, working with NBA teams. I'm on tour. I'm touring the whole country. I'm living my dream. And that's how a lot of men think. A lot of men think this is about me. This is about what I want. This is about what I want to do. It's not about my wife. It's not about my kids. And that's not of God. Because God tells us that we have to be able to steward our home, to take care of our home. And Apostle Paul wrote that when you get married, you got to tend to the things of that marriage, to the things of the world. But if you remain single, then you can tend to the things of the Lord fully. And so what the Lord told me is seasons. So he said, right now you're going into a season where your sons need to see your face. Because otherwise they're going to disrespect their mama and they're going to run over their mama. Because he didn't create a man to be in submission to a woman. So that's why boys give mamas a hard time, and the mama end up working for their son. And the son end up calling the shots around the house at 16. Or the mama got now about to pull a knife on him because he go to smelling himself. So the Lord say, you got to be home, because they gonna fall in submission under your voice. They not finna hear everything she got to say. And my wife, she didn't know that. She didn't believe that, because she a tough Jamaican. So she thought they were gonna be scared of her. But they got to a point where they weren't scared of her. And so now she come and say, can you tell your son this? Can you tell your son that? And I'm thinking like, you tell her. Like, why you don't want to tell her? Like, he got to listen to you too. But I already know if I go talk to him, for what ain't no back talk. And I ain't got to pump my chest up, have no air on my chest. When it's me and him, I check him. I asked him a question the other day, and he answered the question like a question with a question, or the question came off. I say, listen, when I ask you a question, you answer me yes or no. You don't answer me with no another explanation. That's a yes or no question. And it was just me and him riding the car. We having a good time. And then we went right back to our conversation. All right, now, so what you saying now? Now, what it is with this formation? Just check them right there. Hey, boy, don't get beside yourself. And then I have to let them know. And so the Lord said, it's seasons. So he said, listen, it's pastors that have been preaching for 25 years and can't get 700 people in the pews. So if you get 700 people and you ain't even announce it, they don't even know it's coming. They don't even know the time. This is what I done called you to. So that you could do this here work, and then you could get off of this and go right there and look your wife and your sons in the face. You ain't got to be around the whole world. And I remember talking to a Christian comedian who tours like Kevin Hart. And I was like, bruh, you ain't worried about like your sons growing and like you not being home, like you doing 70 to 150 stops a year. He was like, man, you don't got all forever to do it. You got to strike while the iron hot. And this is my dream. He was like, I thought about like like LeBron James. Like, what do his kids do? Like when he got to be gone. Yeah, but he not gone 170 days. And he make 80 million. So they could be on a private jet to where he's at. And he's not a Christian raising Christian kids. So that's totally different. So right then I say, okay, some Christians who know the Lord, not hearing from the Lord and forgetting that. And so then I watch some of these people, they sons will grow up, their daughters will grow up, and it'll be little things that had they been home a little more, it wouldn't have went that way. So Lord told me, listen, man, you got to be home. And you got to know your seasons. So what we have to do in our life with your children, with your nieces, with your nephews, with your students, with your friends, with your family, if you online, if you a podcaster, if you got a YouTube, if whatever, all of that right there, you got to make sure you're leading. You got to make sure you're leading. My wife asked me if I want something to eat. Y'all gotta forgive me. You got to make sure you're leading because we got an interview coming out soon with I'm doing the interviews on Sundays, and y'all stop leaving them people hanging on Sunday. Y'all be watching these relationship videos, and then on Sunday, y'all counterparts and colleagues be on here talking about their business and their passion, and y'all on bit more watch than the man on the moon. Y'all come on Sunday, click on there, watch people interview and get some inspiration so you could step into your purpose. And the interview I was doing, it was about leadership. And the lady was saying that she defines leadership as influence. So that means if you got children, you're a leader. If you got anybody that is next to you, that could see you, that watch you, your coworkers watching you, you're a leader because you got influence. So you got to understand that you got to make sure that your influence is a righteous influence. And listen, it's okay to feel a conviction. I get convicted. And when I get convicted, I make a change. It's okay to feel a conviction. Like, don't feel like everybody is judging you. Somebody telling you the truth. Everybody is not hating. Somebody is telling you the truth. See, the truth could get misconstrued as hate. The truth could get misconstrued as jealousy. The truth could get misconstrued as judgment. That's what it feels like. But that's how you looking at it. But when you judge yourself, see, we instructed not to judge because as we judge, we will be judged. So what that mean is if you gonna judge, you got to make sure your stuff in order. Because the same measure that you measure would be measured unto you. So it's not saying that it's a sin to call somebody out because we supposed to hold each other accountable. It's not a sin to call somebody out. It's not a sin to speak on the ways of the world and the people who are setting these examples and setting these precedents and sending these messages. So for me, when I speak on somebody, it's not that I'm hating on them. It's not that I want to call them out. It's that they already is out, and they already is doing a work with their life, with their decisions. And it's people being affected by those decisions. So the reason why I speak is to bring accountability and to balance the scales, to say, hey, yes, I know your pastor went through a divorce, but that doesn't mean that because you are a parishioner, a member of his church, that you can go and start talking to your wife like she's trash and upending your marriage, and you go get a divorce for the woman up the street who earned more money than your stay-at-home wife or than your school teacher wife, just because your pastor did it. And he maybe have done it and he tried to cover up what he did and tried to make excuses about what he did. And he didn't admit to being out of the will of God. And he didn't admit to not being in his prayer closet and not using discernment, because he can't even see the spirit on the woman he dating, or the woman he engaged to, or the woman he married to. He can't even see it. But people who walking in the spirit, with the spirit, could see the spirits that's on people. It's like having night vision goggles on. You could see in the dark. So if somebody living in the dark, they gonna be glowing to you. When you look at them, you're gonna see them glowing, because you got night vision. That's what the Holy Spirit is, night vision. And see, people ain't hearing from God. This right here, what I'm telling you, this a sermon if you let it be. If you listen back to it, this right here gonna go harder than 90% of pastors in the pulpit. But guess what? I ain't got no sermon notes. I ain't got the Bible in front of me other than what I put up on Google. I ain't got no sermon preparer. I ain't got no mentor in the pulpit giving me the sermon to teach. They're just the Holy Spirit. So when you really get with the Holy Spirit, there's a difference. There's a change. You're going to look different, walk different, sound different, talk different, and people going to be able to tell the difference. Because when the Holy Spirit flow, it ain't no ain't no you knows, ain't no like right, ain't no filler words. When the Holy Spirit go to flowing, we'll take a country tongue, a slow tongue, and do a work like he did through Moses. And that way he'll show up. And that's why, for those of us who walking with the Spirit, say, divert the praise. Don't say, you changed my life. Don't say, thank you for what you do. Thank the Lord. Because see, when God got you, you ain't got to have a human to have you. You ain't got to take up 3 offerings. You ain't got to be begging when God got you. See what the Lord told me? He said, listen, I'm going to have you outside of the 4 walls. And so he raising up more people outside of the 4 walls of the church. And the reason being is because the Lord knows that the devil has temporarily claimed the minds of hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people who are suffering from church hurt, who they want to hear about God, they want to know God, but they don't want to do it in the church because the pastors keep getting caught in cheating scandals, embezzlement scandals, and going through divorces. Or is standing in the pulpit like a woman, feminine, effeminate, up there hair braided like a woman, switching their hips like a woman, got childbearing hips like a woman, acting like a woman, mouth popping like a woman. And so people who got church hurt don't want to go to the church no more because they feel like it's too many hypocrites. So that's why God raising up people with a microphone in their face, people on YouTube, people on Instagram and TikTok to deliver the word. And that's why people don't understand that God ain't changed. He ain't evolving, but he always going to raise up teachers for the time. But the thing about it is, if you don't read your Bible, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. But when you read your Bible and you walking with the Holy Spirit, you going to see those with a demonic spirit on them. It's going to be illuminated before your eyes, and you're going to see them before they coming. And that's why I mind my business, in the sense of I'm not out here trying to do all these collaborations. because the devil got a stronghold on the world right now. That's how you think he was able to offer Jesus something, because he got some play. He making move. He got people in places and things in high places, but it's not high places of God. And that's why the scriptures say that. What do the scriptures say? Let me get this here Google working. And that's what we got to realize and understand. But we don't want to hear it. Here you go right here now. Here you go right here. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood. See that what you got to understand. See, when God truly in the midst, what's happening in Israel, Palestine, that's not of the Lord. Because our struggle is not in flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. That's the New International Version. In the King James, in the New King James, it say, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Now, why you think it say in the heavenly places? See, this thing go deeper than you want to realize. You got to understand what do principalities mean? The position or authority of a prince or chief ruler, sovereignty, supreme power. We wrestling against principalities. See, that's what you got to realize. So everywhere you go and what you do, how you carry yourself, it has to be in righteousness, especially for your children, especially for your friends, for your family, for your co-workers. And you got to flee from the evil instruction and the evil examples of the world. Because those who have sold out for money and fame are not fit to lead a child of God. And that's what you got to realize and understand. And when you realize that, your life gonna change. And here's the thing, what you got to understand though. You don't stop being tested. You don't stop making mistakes. You don't become perfect. It's not that you're not gonna go through. It's not that your heart not gonna be troubled, but you're gonna see the light in the tunnel. Because like the word say, in the New International Version, y'all got to give it this mic strong. Y'all don't want to lick a lip. But these are child. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. Everything you going through, everything you tipped it by, no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. That right there is the removal of sin. That right there is the removal. Because when you are tempted, there will be a way of escape. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. Therefore, my dear friends, this 1 Corinthians chapter 10, that was 13, this 14. Flee from idolatry. I speak to sensible people. Judge for yourselves what I say. Sensible people. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. And see, this is the thing for me, man, look. See, I done experienced the Lord so much, so real that I can't play with the Lord. Like, I can't play with, like, you ask anybody who know me. I wish it was somebody in this chat who know me personally, like done sat in my presence and been around me for a day. And they will tell you that exactly what you see on here is what you see in person. The same realness, the same rawness. No cheating on my wife, no cursing, no living contrary to the word of God. See, I can't play with the Lord. I can't play with the Lord. But the thing about it is, and I'm gonna tell you why I speak and why you need to speak. Blanca Rosa, God bless you now. Why I speak and why you need to speak is because when I speak, I know that anybody who's ever known God, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, they're gonna feel conviction. And then God gonna do what he do. That's why we hold one another accountable. That's why we hold one another accountable. What does it say in Matthew 18 and 15? If your brother sins against you, go tell him his fault between you and him alone. The passage goes on. This one, somebody hurt you personally. When he sinned against you personally, so you say, "Oh, I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't supposed to be judging." It tells you to go confront him. The passage goes on to say that if the brother refuses to listen, you can involve more and more people in the process. So this is the thing, what you have to realize, we're supposed to hold each other accountable. But a lot of times people will say, this right here, Open Bible Info, got 100 Bible verses about holding each other accountable. Proverbs 27 and 17 say, iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. Galatians 6, 1 and 2, brothers, if anyone is caught in any transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness. Keep watch on yourself, lest you be tempted. Bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. See, we're supposed to talk to our brother. And when you see how I say gentleness, this the thing where when you speaking in love and you holding people accountable, oh, you hate, oh, you jealous, oh, you this. And they don't understand that you ain't getting cussed out. You ain't getting called out your name. You ain't getting dogged out. Like, you being held accountable. Like, gentleness in this day and time, restore him in gentleness. See, we think that means, hey, I want to talk to you. No, in the Bible days, for sin, you could get stoned to death. You could get hung at the stakes. You get your head chopped off. So when it say gentleness, it means hold him accountable, but don't put him up to have his life taken at the stable in the middle in the city court, out in front of everybody. But see, we don't think about that, and because of that, we don't want to be held accountable. James 5:1-5:16 say, therefore confess your sins one to another and pray for one another that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person has great power as it is working. Now let me say, confess your sins one to another. Do you know what? that I personally know, 3 pastors, 5 men that I could think of right now. I might be missing 2 or 3 more that have gone through a divorce, and all of them know me personally. Some have asked me for money. Some has had me speak at their church. Do you know when they was going through a divorce, not one of them called me? That's what lets me know that they was outside of the will of God. Because that's what lets me know that they didn't want to do right. They didn't want to be married. They didn't want to be faithful. Because if you know somebody, if you know a man personally, that you got his number, that you talk to him, you call him, you didn't ask for money, you didn't ask to collaborate, you didn't ask for him to speak at your church, you can call him and say, brother, man, me and my wife going through. This what's going on. And then guess what? The prayers of the righteous availeth much. But then also as a brother, I'm going to say, listen. So when I talk to a man, I tell a man, bear the burden, bear the brunt. What did Jesus do? He carried. He carried. Be who God called you to be. Stop blaming her. Stop looking for her fault. Cover the fault. Be better as a man. Grow as a man. Go on a 40-day no complaining. Go on a 40-day showing love every day. Go on a 40-day massage or foot rub every day. Go on a 40-day compliment every day. Go on a 40-day no argument. That's the fruits of the spirit. It's going to heal and change everything that's broken in that. And it done did it for me. That's how I know it worked. But see, people don't want to hear it, though. People don't want to hear it. Some people coming in late, so Dawn in the chat, but she watching the video from behind, but the chat's still live. And so this the thing. You got to realize and understand it. You got to realize and understand. But hey, well, why she say she's gonna text when she leaving the store? It'll be 20 minutes away. But I'm gonna go and get off here because I probably could beat her home. Hey, if you missed any of this, what this was, 2 hours and 40 minutes, listen back to it. And I mean, it don't match the title. So if you just pop in here, it don't match the title now. It just, that's where I started at. But we had to keep on going. If you ain't ordered your elderberry gummy, make sure you get on over there to Wealth of Health. And I'm gonna tell you why I started this right here. Because you know, sometimes people, they look and they see that you're a life coach and they just think that, oh, you're a panderer. Oh, you're a hope dealer. Oh, you making money off people misery and all of that. That's why I started my jewelry line, started this here. And it's my passions too, stuff I want to do. My consistency t-shirt line. You see that consistency right there? My hoodie line, all that. My ghostwriting, my author consulting, my publishing, imprint, all of that right there. Just so folks understand that when you truly work for the Lord, you're going to be enterprising. You're not just going to try to focus on how to monetize people trauma and monetize people pain. You're not just going to sit in a position and just beg for money and take up 3-4 offerings and just keep begging for money. God going to give you the wisdom to create. He going to give you the wisdom so that you could build business. And what the Lord does with your business is what you put your hand to, he blesses it. So that you don't have to go into sin of embezzling funds or scamming people out of money and doing crooked stuff or playing on people trauma and having people just keep dumping money. 5-10 years. People come to me, say they've been in therapy for 10 years. I'm like, you ain't fixed yet. Like, you gonna have to make some changes now. You have to move forward. You have to turn that pain into purpose. I asked the therapist, my homeboy, he's a therapist in Baltimore. I like, bro, can you help your client write a book? He said, no. He said, I get audited out the yin yang. He said, I'll lose my license. I try to help them write a book. He said, but I could send them to you. I could refer them to you. I said, oh, okay. So that's what's happening. You going to therapy and you just sitting in your mess over and over every week, but you're not turning your mess into a message and becoming a life coach, becoming a therapist yourself, becoming a speaker, becoming an author, starting a business, starting a t-shirt line. You ain't turning pain into purpose. You're just sitting there and keep talking about the same thing every week. But guess what? That's paying that therapist bill. So some therapists gonna let you keep on coming in that talk. They ain't bit more list. They on the phone playing crossword puzzle. They on the phone. Oh, really? And so now what happened there? And now how did that make you feel? Yeah, she's sitting here talking. She's been in here 24 years. And so now, not all of them, but you know what? I'm certifying now. A lot of, Tony, can you raise the price of the elderberry? They gonna raise now. They gonna go back to 30. This just the starter out price now. So you got to get it right now while it's 21. But yeah, they going up now. But now I'm training a lot of therapists because they say, listen, I want more. I want to be able to help more. I want to be able to do more. I want to be able to step outside of this treatment plan, take the therapy hat off. I want to be able to do a little more. So guess what? They add another hat. So if somebody need therapy, they do therapy. Somebody need coach, they can do coaching. I can't do both. I'm just a coach. But that's why the Lord got me enterprising, so people can't so they can't box you in, because you got a lot of scammers online that is podcasters and life coaches. They life coach podcasters, and that's all they do. That's their only business, is just peddle and pander. Ain't starting now another company. And so that right there, that's what the Lord called me to where 60-70% of my income will be enterprising. So, hey, get on over to Wealth of Health. Let me know what vitamins you need next. Every vitamin in your pantry, I'm gonna be replacing it over time with healthy, great replacement. And Nisa, God bless you. Nisa, you say I'm gonna buy some, my check coming, and then you ask, can I raise the prices? How you want me to raise the prices and you got to wait on the check for the $21? Come on now, Nisa, don't block your blessing, boy. Black people, God bless you. Sister want me to get blessed, and she already said she got to wait till that check hit. Nah, it needs to be in here now. Hey, God bless you. I appreciate you. So listen, this is what I try to tell y'all. Some of y'all be sending me a cash out, and you ain't got to send me no cash out if you see me with a product. Go on there and get your elderberry. It's gonna bless me the same. And it helped me get off the inventory so I could re-up. When I was out there in the streets working for the devil, I used to spend my re-up money. Now that I'm working for the Lord, I learned how to reinvest my re-up money. So now you doing things the right way with kingdom principles, you could build. Hey, God bless you. Share, God bless you. And see, y'all notice when I go live, I won't be having my Cash App and Venmo up here, only because I be seeing people who work for the other side be having theirs up there. And you don't want to let your good be evil spoken of. But the moderators got my Cash App and they be blessing me. And so I just want to say thank you to the moderators, because they don't get paid to do what they do. And I don't know them personally. It's not like my sister or my first cousin or my mama. The moderators are supporters from here that I don't know personally. I maybe have met some of them or one of them, a couple of them at a seminar, but they be helping out. So I really appreciate y'all. Thank you. And I might owe cash out some money. It's like, man, hey, sell us our buddy, dog. Hey, God bless you. We'll talk soon. Carlotta, they just became it because I just seen them here all the time. Seen them here all the time. Seen them checking people in the comments. And when it was open to the public, I just made them a moderator. AB Kenner, I'm thinking about adding a subscription. And so I got to see adrenal. Now, see, the thing about it is, I don't even know what adrenal is, AB. So I talked to my wife about that, the medical student. And then I got to see. And I ain't gonna be messing with nothing too serious now, because I don't want to be messing nothing up now. So it's gonna be vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin E. You know, it's gonna be we'll have sea moss gummies and ashwagandha gummies. I'm gonna have creatine gummies eventually for my son and his friend, because they into that right there, you know, with the body, with the lifting and stuff. And then some women take creatine as well, but I ain't gonna get too deep now. But eventually we're gonna be doing other like household products, like the red light for the red light therapy, the sauna, red light saunas. I'm gonna get into the hyperbaric chambers one day. So Billionaire, it's a health and wellness and supplement company. So we're gonna have all the run of the gamut, all of the products, but you got to build slowly and let the business build itself. So I made the investment in this, and from here, I'm just gonna be flipping and building. I ain't raised no money, I ain't got no investors. So that's why what I'm showing y'all is what I show y'all in Tony Gaskins Academy, what you see in the top corner in the Entrepreneurship with Purpose course. And the other course is called How to Create a Product, or a masterclass, how to produce a product or something, product creation. This what I'm showing y'all, real life and in color. This what I'm showing y'all is how to go from A to Z and get your vision out there. And you could do this with your tax return. You could do this with your Christmas bonus. You could do this with that credit card that you're shopping with. You could start you $1 million business. And so that's what me and my clients in the year of coaching program, it's a one-on-one program, but they work with me for 12 to 16 months. That's what we doing. We launching business. So y'all gonna see those products too. Y'all already seen one of them, my client who did her sportswear, Omni Fit. Y'all seen that one if y'all was here then. I'm gonna see if I can remember the name of it. And then you seen Jessica, Coach Jessica, the retreat. Some of y'all went on the retreat with her. So we launched that and her conference. She's done 2 conferences since she's been in the year of coaching program. And next, you about to see Natasha product soon. That's almost done. So this what we doing. We producing. So it ain't just about, what we talking about on here. You still got to be active in the other B, the 3 B's. What we talked about tonight, that's the brain. That's the brain. But you also got to think about the brand and this right here for the body. And so keep your head up, keep going. I never had these Q&As planned. And Giovanni, that's what I'm working on right now, the apple cider vinegar gummies. It's just me personally, they nasty to me. I really don't like vinegar, so that's been my hang up, but I got to get on over it. Do not know what wheatgrass is, but I'm going to look into it. But hey, God bless y'all. We'll talk soon. Look like my wife pulling up to the house. So luckily, I'm just around the corner. God bless you.